Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. I know I'm early today, right? Yeah. So welcome everybody. And thank you for joining me. Yeah. I'm a wee bit early. Hello. Finally, I have the opportunity to see it. Oh, Merry Christmas, Erica, and to your family. So hopefully you're enjoying the beautiful weather you have down there. Hello, good morning, Charlene. Good morning. Good morning to everyone. One day, and it's going to be the winter solstice. I know it sounds like it's like, what do you mean? It's not Christmas yet. Winter solstice is one of the most celebrated times throughout ancient history. And if you're not sure what the winter solstice is, hang on. Okay. Why do they call me when I'm on? What is it? What is it with my children calling me when I'm on? Don't they know Mama has things to do? On a call. So let them know I'm on a call, man. Mama's busy. But it never fails. It's one of my children every single time. Never fails. This is sort of like I don't know, like a ritual kind of thing that would happen even when they're younger. Mom, I would be doing a reading and I don't know. It's just like, the kids always know when you're on the phone and that's when trouble happens, right? Have to put the lipstick on for this. Let's go back to the winter solstice and the sun when the sun goes in. It is a scientific thing. So for those, and we take this all for granted now. Like, how many people really don't know or don't even pay attention? Like in ancient times, I mean, people really paid attention to this because it was really important. This was usually called the midwinter. You know, Here today, we say, oh, it's winter time. But if you notice, like even from spring or from summer, as you sort of feel like by November, everybody's saying it's winter time. I mean, that's the way our ancients worked, used to have it, right? So you would have the autumn equinox, and then that was kind of like, yeah, the autumn equinox, and then you would come into sort of like the winter would be coming into, fall usually starts in September to me. So you start feeling the changes in August. And then of course, then you'd have, I would say the mid fall would be the autumn equinox because everything is equal days to equal nights. And now we're coming into the winter where it's coming into the shortest day. And in ancient times, I mean, they didn't pay much attention, a little bit to the spring, not so much to the fall, but mainly summer and winter were the main times because that was, because following the sun. And they really had to plot this all out. It wasn't just like, oh, let me go Google. They didn't have Google, just an FYI. So here we go. And we'll turn this around for those on Instagram. So here we go. So we have the earliest sunset is not on the shortest day. So it's the rotation of the sun in the annex or the sun rays. So it's where the sun is the farthest. Okay, so the sun is the farthest. Solstice means stand still. So the sun actually stands still for 3 days. And this is where, when we look at it, we experiences the larger differences in day lengths throughout the year. So winter days are shorter and summer days are longer. All right. So we are coming into the shortest day. And then from every day, starting from 3 days after the winter solstice, we will be having 1 minute each day, 1 minute each day, the days are going to get longer. Okay, so from the winter solstice, one day will get longer. There, there are so many, we all know about Stonehenge, but there are many different ruins around the world that have it. I mean, Machu Picchu down in Mexico, um, which is not a very old site, really, comparatively to say some of the sites from the British Isles. But it has and archaeologists are still finding information about that, about Machu Picchu. There's still so much more information that's coming out all the time from there. But there is a room that is there, and on the winter solstice, that's where the sun shines in and lights it up. Very cool. They even have a site in Ireland, and I wrote down the name of it because I know I would not have remembered. And it is called in Ireland, New Grade, where it's a mound, and it's from 3200 BCE. And on the winter solstice, it's the only time, and it goes underground, the only time this tunnel lights up. And when it lights up, it just sort of like it's kind of really glows, and you could see all the hieroglyphs and everything that are written on the wall. And around there are grave mounds around there. So, and it illuminates. Another one is Stony, what is it called? Stony Littleton, which is in there also. It's 3500 BCE. And then there's some in Scotland too, which which they have as well. So there's many different types of mounds that even predate Stonehenge. It's just Stonehenge is just huge, right? And so this midwinter sun is when it's the lowest, and it's a celebration. It is when many of our ancestors got together to celebrate because they knew the sun was coming back. They knew that even though that it was the long days of winter, that every day the sun would be with them longer. And the sun is also a time for life, right? Because it was in those long days of winter, would you survive, right? So you'd have this celebration, or what now they call it the Yuletide, and the Yuletide was really brought in actually, or the celebration of December 21st with Wicca. And Wicca is a fairly new religion. It's not an old ancient religion. It's fairly new. It's Guardian started it in the sort of the 30s, 40s, and really took off in the 50s. So it's fairly a new one. Witches are the old one, the witchcrafts, the pagans. That was, where they really celebrated the transitions of the year, and these transitions of the year and celebrations, because they followed the sun. They followed where the sun was, and the energies of the sun and the balances of it. And it's so important. This is, as I see it, when you go to somebody, or you go and you say, "Oh, today's the winter solstice." They're like, "Oh, really?" No idea, no clue, which I think is really, really sad. I think this is because it is a scientific phenomenon. It is something, that I believe should be one of the things taught in schools. Understanding the rotation of the earth, understanding how the sun is of great significance to us in our life. If we don't have the sun, well, we don't survive, basically. The crops don't grow, we don't grow, we don't live. So there's so much there with the winter solstice. Also, with the winter solstice, it's when we are coming into the sign of Capricorn. Yes, and I know many of you love Capricorn. Not really. And many of you just like despise it. And we've been having so much Capricornian energy since 2008, and all because of Pluto coming into that sign and really forging a change within the world in the way that um way that we do things, right? And Capricorns are, I find Capricorns are funny as a psychic and an astrologer. What I find about Capricorns are very funny because they're usually the last ones to get a reading. The reason being is that they're a cardinal sign and they are a very structured sign. They're an earth-based energy. They're ruled by Saturn. And Saturn wants structures and it wants rules and it wants for you to follow those rules. There's laws, right? And you have to follow those laws. If you go outside the laws and you don't follow the laws, well, why aren't you following the laws? Why are you thinking things differently? And it takes them a little time of moodling in order for them to really step into a structure of that is different than their structure or their belief system. And I find that when we when the sun enters into, and that's why I always make the joke, there's a reason why we have Saturn before Capricorn at Christmas time, is because we don't want just practical gifts. We want you to think outside the box and get something fun for Christmas, right? Uh, where Capricorn would be a very practical gift, where they'd be the ones that say, maybe you need to have some accounting done, or maybe we need to get you a ledger book or a new set of pencils or something, something that's not, it's like, yes, we'll get you practical HB2 pencils, where Sagittarius would be like, yeah, we'll get you some pencils, but they're going to be bedazzled and they're going to be kind of cool and they're going to have a grip and they're going to, be real funky kind of thing on them. And Capricorn's like, why? It's just a pencil. So practicality comes into it, and how we are needing to structure this. When the sun enters into Capricorn, we're going to have Mercury begin to pass it, and it's going to form the Gazini. And the Gazini is when the sun and Mercury are very close together, and you cannot even see them. And it's I find Gazinis, for me, crazy things always happen to to me with Gazinis. There's something that's either like last time it felt like somebody punched me in the heart chakra. I've had where I've just felt it's just the transitioning of it with that Mercury energy. And Mercury doesn't rule my chart. The moon rules my chart because I have a Cancer rising. And so that's my ruler. So when it comes to Mercury is this god of communication. And right now is when he's going back into Sagittarius. So there's some information that needs to be relayed to the world, and maybe we're not hearing it all. This is where, as we're coming into the very end of Sagittarius, you might be feeling a little anxious or overwhelmed, and you're trying to figure out why you're feeling so anxious and overwhelmed right now. And you're just like, whoa, what's going on? And I would say call in. And I was, today's like, I really felt Zadkiel coming and bringing in Archangel Zadkiel to really help to ground. And he's very much a very grounded type of angelic energy. And really want to, if you are worried or overthinking, he's got that practicality. So I really relate Zadkiel to Capricorn, wanting to bring in the practicality, wanting to bring in that structure. And then with Saturn too and Pisces, it's like, yeah, we want to bring in these structures. And that's really, when we go into the winter solstice and this transitioning that we're having, it's about practicality, really. Because in Capricorn, we're coming into winter, you got to have some practical things set up. Do you have your winter tires? Have you gotten your car ready for winter, kind of thing? Do you have extra blankets and pillows and stuff in your car just in case you get on the side of the road, right? Do you have a toolkit? Do you have your to-go bag ready? Kind of things like that. Those are sort of the practical things when when we are coming into Capricorn. Capricorn's actually a really fabulous time to get your taxes together, because when you get into Aquarius and Pisces and Aries, it's just like you won't really feel like doing it, but Capricorn wants to bring in that, okay, let's get things in order, let's get things together. It's also the year end, right? So for some people, it's their year end. So what's that practicality? Do you have those shoe boxes all in order? Have you gone through those shoe boxes lately with all your tax receipts? So this is really, a very beautiful time of organization, getting things together. It's a time of, okay, do we have everything we need for the Christmas dinner? Do we have, what are we having for the Christmas dinner? Are we having turkey? Are we having a roast? Are you having a goose? What is it that you're having? Are you having fish? Right? In France, it's very common. One of the at any big dinner is that you have clams, oysters. So, and that was actually, it's funny because that was a really big part when I was growing up. We had oysters and clams and stuff. And we lived in Edmonton, but my mother has a French background. And then having a meat pie, a ground meat pie, a big one, a torte, I think it was called, and so having these different things, getting it organized. Do you have it? So this is really, this energy that's coming forth about organization, getting things done. Do we have everything together? Right? And this is where you might be feeling, whew, this is, especially where we have this opposition with, Venus today, all day, opposite lovely Uranus. And this is where it might be, you don't want to get into arguments. You don't want to, um, especially about belief systems, right? It's like really not a practical time to get in an argument about belief systems and what you believe and how it should be, and, everything else like that. So, and especially with Venus just, and sometimes with, well, being in Scorpio, wants a quick fix, wants to feel that self gratification and stuff, and then go on. But here we want to have this practicality that comes in, and we don't want to get into any weird engage, energetically weirdness in that, but you might be feeling it. So again, let's bring in that, there's this practicality that's coming in. So it's coming into a practicality. Chiron's going forward, and Chiron can be bringing in some real wounded, oh, woe is me, and oh my goodness, we don't have enough of this, oh, will I get my presents I want, and some deep woundedness of some past Christmas that your sister slammed your finger into a door or some kind of crazy shit, and you're bringing it all up again. So this is really coming back in. Let's get into the practicality. Let's get into what do we need to organize? What do we need to focus on that is going to be and bringing in some real positiveness for all of us, and even for yourself. Because you might be getting a very, this is a fragile ego alert. So if your ego is getting damaged because somebody said something, or they don't like you, or they didn't, wish you a Merry Christmas, whatever it is, you want to, or what you want it to look like. The Christmas tree isn't the way the Christmas tree is. You wanted a different Christmas tree, but you waited too long and all the Christmas trees are gone at the store, and you wanted this beautiful live Christmas tree, and you had an idea of how it's supposed to be, what it's supposed to look like, and you got Charlie Brown's Christmas tree. Okay. Ego. Instead of making, oh, okay, well, what can we do with this? Where's the blankie? Let's put the blankie about on it, and maybe we don't put all the decorations on it somehow. We do it a little differently this year. So watch it, because Pluto can get a little edgy as well, because Pluto's been there since 2008, but he is on the edge. He's at 29 degrees. So he's on the edgy part. And so things can be taken a little bit cray cray right now. As he's just almost completing up, he will go back there. As I've been telling people, at the end of next year, he will be going back into Capricorn. So it is a little edgy. There's still things to be cleaned up. There's still things to be done. What is it that we really need to get organized? Do we need to dust stuff off? Where's, do you have, everything for the Christmas dinner? Where's your cake pans? Where's your roasting pan? Where is all of that? right? So there's a practicality that's coming in with all of this. And it could send some people where it's like, I put it here last year at this time, but you forgot that you lent it off to Susie down the road, and Susie has your roasting pan, sort of things like that. So, oh, she didn't return it. Why didn't she return it? So watch yourself on that. It's where you really have to take some really deep breaths right now, right? And as you're taking these deep breaths and stepping forward, so it is about practicality, people. So and having that practicality. uh where are we going? Okay, I was starting to write. Yes. So this is where with Capricorn, time is all about cleaning up after the excess of the sun transit at Sagittarius. Sagittarius can leave a mess. They can be this fiery tornado that comes through. They have all these great ideas. They're doing it's the wrapping paper everywhere and stuff like that. And it's, they'll clean it eventually, but in comes the practicality of Capricorn, and it leads the laser focus and ground it. And want it grounded practicality. Whether you overspent or overdid your festivities, or you are overcommitted, now see where to the ambitions with your estimation of what you could pull together and pull through. So this is where whatever went on now is the time to get back to business. Fine tune routines. This is where, to strategize. This is where you want to create, and what you are wanting to really kind of like, what do I need to moodle on right now? Because we're entering into Capricorn. This isn't a time for New Year's resolutions. And I'm just going to say that outright. Doing New Year's resolutions and like, oh, I'll diet in the new year. No, because January, if you are working with me throughout 2024, you're going to find that January is the time to just dream and just sleep and just figure it out. It's the time to get the really nice little blankie and your notepad and your colored crayons and your paint, and really start to sort of like, what is it that I want to do? It's the time when people start to plan their gardens, right? All the seed catalogs come in and ideas come in on oh, right, the tomatoes didn't grow really well there. They grew well over here. Maybe we'll switch it around a bit. So this is a real time of moodling on setting a plan, setting a course of what you are wanting to discover, what you are wanting to do, how you are wanting to create, and create this newness. So there is this beautiful energetic transformation that comes in as we are heading into January in the Capricorn energy. Christmas is, yes, a wonderful day of celebration and gathering for most people. For some, it can be a little overwhelming and taxing because maybe, during the Sag season, you overspent, you overdid, and now you got, that practicality is coming in and you're freaking the fuck out. So we don't want you to freak. No freakouts, no freakies, okay? No freakouts. It's breath work. Coming into the breath, coming in to the alignment, coming in, calling in your angels, Archangel Zadkiel is, I was gonna combine two angels here, Zadkiel and Archangel Shamuel. Shamuel will help to show you the way. If you're really looking and you're really feeling overwhelmed, Archangel Ariel, and then bringing in the higher sources and helping you to align with those higher sources to guide you upon transitions. So just saying. So since we're still in Sag, we're going to bring out the fairies. Fairy time. So today I have 3 readings for $150. So if you are wanting to get some readings and stack up on some readings, so I have 3 readings for $150 today. And those are great gifts. So what you can do, this is me. I love to buy things in packages because I take the package and I break it up and I make little packages with it. So if you are wanting to break it up, and that say you have 3 people that you want to give a gift to. So you could break it up, and so now you've only spent $50 on each person, which is about, actually, that's about the average price of a gift right now. So if you are wanting to give it as a gift, just, yeah, you could just write it in a Christmas card. Here's a gift, put my email in there so that they can get a hold of me. And then we book it in. If you don't want to do that, you could keep it all for yourself, and we can work together throughout the year. So that's another really beautiful thing that to do, is that to book every second month or every third month. I have people that are going to be working with me every month, which will be really nice, because sometimes it gives you that grounding, gives you that, focus of what it is that you are wanting to focus on. So bringing in some counseling, spiritual counseling for you for the year as well. So 3 readings on for 150. And if the person doesn't use it and you've given it to them, um, you can use it. Like, it's like, I gave you this gift, because some people are very scared. You gave them a gift to go see a psychic or get their natal chart done. It freaks the fuck out of people, with some people. And it's like, oh my God, she's going to read every thought. Trust me, I don't want to read every thought. I don't want to read your thoughts. I got enough going on in my head, let alone to have to read other people's thoughts and what they're thinking or overthinking about and things like that. That's not unless you ask me a question, and that's a whole nother kettle of fish, because then you just open the door, honey, to to allowing the spirits to come in. So I always say, be careful what you ask, because you may not like the answer. And that's the whole thing. You may not like the answer. So, couple things. Let's take a look first. We got the Ace of Springs. So here we come in. And that's, with the Ace of Springs is bringing in that element of fire, right? Bringing in that element of fire. It's the Ace of Fire. So it is really looking at, what do you need to take action on? We're still in Sag season. We're still in that, so what is it that you need to take action on? This is now a time to look at either career opportunities or things that you have been looking at that you are wanting to change to, work on, or even start to complete, because Mercury retrograde is a really great time for completion and looking at that completion. And with that comes the awakening. The Hangman. The Hangman, I find he's kind of a bitch. This is a bitch card, because this is where you have to change your way of looking at things. So when the bitch card comes in and you are having inspiration, and you might be saying, oh, well, it's not working, or this isn't, it's like, okay, now you really have to sort of come outside the circle and sort of hover over, get, take a look from above, take a look from all different angles, and maybe even ask other people what, I'm having a hard time figuring this out. I need to figure some stuff out. And with Uranus coming in, it's about embracing some uniqueness that is coming in. And the thing about the Fae love to change shit up. They just love to look at things differently, do things differently, and sometimes mess things up, because then they could just recreate something new. So this is where you might get a little anxious, a little overwhelmed, because it's like, oh my God, it's like too much for me to, I have all these ideas. Write them down. Take the steps, because I even have to do that. I bet, looking at, oh, I want to do all this, blah. It's like, I have all these crazy ideas in my head where what I want to do. And then you get to a point where you just freeze and you stop and you don't do them. Right? Because you're just so overwhelmed. So in comes it, we got to take a different look at it. And as we do that, comes the Two of Fire. So the Two of Wands comes in, and as the Two of Wands comes in, it's like, okay, I'm getting a very unique look at things. I am coming through. I feel like things are brighter, right? I feel like things are feeling well, and I'm really, finding who I want to work with and compromise with. And so progress is getting made, but the progress is getting made because we're taking a different look at it and a different approach. And instead of trying to do things the same old, same old. So there you go. If you're wanting a reading, definitely get a hold of me right now. 3 readings for $150 or just 1 reading for $100. We have the 2024 readings, the one-on-one readings, which are about 90 minutes. They're on for $130. So we can do that. And predictions, my predictions for 2024. If you're wanting to join me, it's $30 and it's on December 30th. So yeah. So lots going on there, baby. I want you all to have a fabulous, wonderful day, and may the Lord and Lady watch over and bless each and every one of you. And we will talk to you tomorrow on the winter solstice. Blessed be everybody.